The gravel crunched beneath Maya's boots as she walked down the long, winding path leading to the abandoned house. The sky above was bruised with heavy clouds, and the wind rustled through the overgrown trees like whispers from the dead. She clutched the strap of her backpack tighter, her breath visible in the crisp air. The house stood at the edge of the forest, far removed from the town, surrounded by an aura of quiet desolation. For years, the locals had called it the Lonely House. It had been empty for nearly half a century, standing silent and forgotten, except in whispered stories told to frighten children. Maya wasn't interested in ghost tales. She was a documentary filmmaker, and the house was her next project. Urban legends fascinated her, and she intended to record the house's history and explore whether there was any truth behind the rumors. As she stepped onto the moss-covered porch, the wooden boards groaned beneath her. The front door stood slightly ajar, as though it had been waiting. She pushed it open with a low creak, revealing a dark hallway thick with dust and silence. Her flashlight cut through the gloom, revealing peeling wallpaper, broken picture frames, and cobwebs that clung to the corners like forgotten memories. The house smelled of decay and old wood. She turned on her camera and began to record, narrating as she moved from room to room. This is the living room. Furniture remains, though covered in dust. The fireplace is cracked. No signs of vandalism or squatters. Strange for a place left unattended this long. She paused at a family photo on the mantel. A man, woman, and a young girl. Their faces were blurry from water damage, but their expressions seemed forced, almost frightened. The stairs creaked ominously as she climbed. Upstairs, she found 3 bedrooms. The master bedroom had a mirror shattered from the inside. The little girl's room had a rocking chair that swayed slowly despite the still air. Her flashlight flickered. She slapped it gently and it steadied. She began to feel watched. Every creak behind her made her turn, only to find empty air. She shook it off. The mind played tricks in dark places. In the hallway, she found a door she hadn't noticed before. It was narrow and wooden, nearly invisible against the paneling. She tried the handle, it was locked. She frowned, then noticed something odd. There were scratch marks on the floor, as though someone or something had tried to force the door open, or escape from behind it. She set up her sleeping bag in the living room as the daylight faded. Her plan was to stay overnight, document any strange occurrences, and leave in the morning. Midnight came. She awoke to the sound of the rocking chair upstairs, slowly creaking back and forth. The sound echoed through the wooden walls, heart pounding. She grabbed her camera and flashlight, heading up the stairs. The chair was rocking gently. She scanned the room. Nothing. Just toys scattered on the floor and faded wallpaper with cartoon animals. Then she noticed the closet door. It was open, just a crack. She approached it and pulled it wide. Empty. Empty. She sighed in relief and turned, then stopped. The rocking chair was still moving, but the window was closed. No draft. She went back downstairs, but the feeling of unease clung to her. She tried to sleep, but kept hearing faint whispers, words she couldn't make out, like a radio between stations. She checked her camera footage. When she had turned her back in the little girl's room, a shadow had appeared in the doorway behind her. It stood motionless, then faded as she turned. Maya froze. She rewound the footage, watched it again. The shadow was unmistakable. She played it frame by frame and paused when the shadow was clearest. It looked like a girl, no more than 10 years old. In the morning, Maya explored the cellar, hoping to find documents or clues about the family. The cellar door was behind the kitchen, concealed by a shelf that had been dragged in front of it. She moved it aside and descended into darkness. The air was musty and colder than the rest of the house. At the far end was a rusted metal cabinet. Inside were old newspaper clippings and photographs. She read an article dated April 12, 1975. Local girl missing. Family uncooperative. The article detailed the mysterious disappearance of a young girl named Eliza Merrin. The family refused to answer questions, and shortly after, they disappeared from town. No bodies were ever found. Police closed the case after the house was abandoned. Another article, dated 6 months, later mentioned that a neighbor reported hearing screams from the house in the middle of the night, followed by complete silence. But when authorities arrived, the house was empty. She found a photo of Elisa. It matched the girl in the shadow from her footage. Maya returned upstairs, shaken but more curious than afraid. She walked to the hidden door in the hallway. This time, it was slightly open. She hadn't opened it. Inside was a narrow staircase spiraling down into a hidden basement. Deeper than the cellar, she descended slowly, every step echoing like a heartbeat. The air grew colder. At the bottom was a small room lit only by a shaft of light from a hole in the ceiling. In the center was a child's bed. Chains were attached to the wall. She covered her mouth. A small doll lay beside the bed, rotted and eyeless. On the walls were drawings in red crayon. Stick figures, 1 child, 2 adults, then a crude drawing of a figure in black looming over the child, and below, written in jagged letters, "I want to go outside." Maya backed away, stumbled, and dropped her flashlight. As she scrambled to pick it up, she heard footsteps behind her. When she turned, no one was there, but the chains had started to rattle. She fled the hidden basement, slammed the door, and barricaded it with a chair. That night, she didn't sleep. The whispers returned, louder this time. They came from every wall. She tried to leave, but the front door wouldn't budge. Neither would the windows. It was as if the house was holding her. She ran to the little girl's room. The closet door slammed shut behind her. She screamed and turned her camera on. In the lens, she saw Eliza, pale, hollow-eyed, standing beside the bed. Maya turned, but there was nothing there. On the wall behind her, new writing had appeared. "She's still here." The rest of the night was a blur of terror doors slamming, lights flickering, the sound of a child crying. At dawn, everything stopped. The door was unlocked again. Maya grabbed her things and fled. She never returned, but she released the footage. The documentary, titled "The Shadow of the Lonely House," went viral. Viewers claimed to see Eliza's ghost appear in different parts of the film, sometimes even outside the house. The house remains, still abandoned, still silent, but sometimes. At night, locals say they hear a girl's voice calling out from within, "I want to go outside."